Texas.
No, dude, because I remember fucking. Okay, here's the story.
How about how my life got flipped, turned upside down?
Oh my God. It took me a second. I was like, what?
And this is how I became a
In
friend.
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Anyway, it's got a one little farm.
I got one. Wait, what did she call it? No, hold on. We got one little entanglement. My mom got scared. Sorry, too soon.
Wait, say that again?
Oof.
I got one.
Little entanglement.
I got one little
My
D
wife
on my
left
neck,
me.
and my mom.
Oh my God. Wow. Anyway, so this elderly couple comes in, no younger than 60s, guaranteed. They were white, their skin was fucking raisined, dude. Typical old couple. They come in, they're trying to be environmentally conscious, but they also want to make a little money. So they're recycling some aluminum cans. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And so I asked for the dude's ID, which I do with every customer, and I put it into the computer so we know where the material came from. And after I did that, I fucking walked back up to the dude and I'm like, all right, I want you to take these bags of cans, because it was in like big garbage
Hold on,
bag.
guys. I'm like
I was like,
doing some safe zones, and then I'm gonna go do that side mission. Continue. Sorry.
no, I didn't want to interrupt if it was critical.
Not entirely, but yeah.
So I walked up to the old dude and I noticed he had hearing aids in, so I tried to speak loudly without making it sound like I'm trying to yell and embarrass the dude or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That defeats
"Alright,
the entire
cool,
purpose of hearing aids.
I know.
Anyway. Honestly, you never know how well they do or don't work, because you gotta, they have maintenance. You gotta keep them clean. You gotta change the batteries, you know?
By
You
the
gotta...
way, before I forget, this is the only reason why I'm interrupting right now. Just before I forget. So I forget who it was. Wanted me to remind Zeus that you can still record when you play Face It. So.
Hi.
Johnny said that.
That was me.
Okay, loud.
Okay,
Alright,
at least
I just
it's
didn't say it. Yeah.
Why would I want to play against a bunch of sweaty losers, though?
Anyway,
I mean, it is better in a way.
fucking Face It, for me, anyway. Fucking, so, I'm like, alright, I want you to take these bags. He had like 5 or 6 of them. I was like, I want you to take these bags, and I want you to dump them out into this big yellow bin right here. And I pulled it up to him. This thing is like 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 5 or 6 feet long. It's a pretty large fucking tub. You can fit
Yeah.
up to like 150 pounds of aluminum cans into this thing if they're crushed properly. So I gave them the instructions. It seemed like they registered, and I was like, all right, cool. So my managers don't want me handling any of the cans due to the coronavirus thing, and so I went to take a seat back, and the dude takes one of the bags out from his car and he sets it on the ground, and I'm like, well, now you have to bend over really far, but you do you, bud. And then he pulls out a pocket knife and he cuts the fucking son of a bitch open. I'm like, that's gonna be a messy lift, especially if you don't have big long arms like me to try to pick a cut wide open bag off of the floor and get those cans into the container, because it's about 3.5 feet, 4 feet off the ground, you know. And this is old, crippled old guy. This dude grabs the bag and then like he grabs like a handful of the bag in each hand, pulls it apart, and just dumps the entire fucking bag onto the floor.
Why?
And I literally, without even thinking, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "What the fuck are you doing?" like it was an exclamation of surprise. Like, what?
Oh, wait, is this the story of when the wife started getting on your ass?
Me
about
too.
it?
Dude,
We
yeah.
have the same name.
So this
Are you from
this story I'm
the
trying
video
to
store?
tie back
No,
into
my
the
name's
fact
Crane.
that age has
Crane?
absolutely no relation to
Crane
maturity.
rhymes with train,
Oh,
and
this
rain,
fucking-
and sane,
this
and
fucking-
grain, and rain, and plane, and the other kind of
I was like
plane,
laughing, and
and-
I
Can
kind
I
of
come
like
in?
walked away,
No.
like
No,
how am I gonna handle this
it's
situation?
impossible.
What am I
Impossible.
gonna do?
This is my
It's like we have
special day
brooms,
with
we have
Mom.
dust pans.
It's
I'll
Mother's
sweep them up,
Day,
I'll throw them in the
and
bin.
it's the
Not a
most
big deal.
important day
But then
of the whole
I
world.
went to go ask him. I was
Are
like,
you from the
so why did
video
you
store?
decide to pour them on
Why do you
the
keep
floor?
asking me that?
And I
Because
don't know what
you're-
his
Gazi, if I bring you your
wife
movie,
thought I
will you let
said,
me come in?
But she fucking explodes on me, like I'm yelling at this dude, ridiculing him, and you know, making him out to be a huge piece of fucking dumb shit, which is not at all what I did. I have you know, better customer service skills than that. But she's fucking yelling at me and shit like that, and she's like, "You don't need to curse at an old man." Blah blah blah. I was like, I did say the F word, but it wasn't at him. I was just surprised why, you know, like I just gave him a simple instruction and I thought he understood it, and then this happened, and I honestly was just caught off guard. And she's fucking, well, you shouldn't be blah blah blah. You shouldn't use that. You shouldn't be. You're not allowed to be using those words. She literally said that to me, and I was like, ma'am, regardless of how you may feel about profanity, my right to free speech is protected by the First Amendment. Her response, and I can't make this up. No, it's not.
That I remember. That
I was like, yo, what?
Ignorance is
Are
bliss.
you-
That's all I can say to that.
I was still smiling because like you can't fix stupid.
No, you can't. It's
And
so
so-
great.
I was like at a loss for words. Like, I'm getting yelled at by some old lady who has a retarded husband. Why am I getting yelled at? But then like I still didn't make any kind of comment about how he did or that the fact it was stupid. The only thing that I said in regards to his action was, "What the fuck are you doing?" It wasn't like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing, retard?" It was like, "Yo, what the fuck? What are you doing?" It's like imagine you're sitting at a red light in your car and somebody fucking just jumps on top of your car and you'd be surprised. It would be one of those "what the fuck are you doing" moments, right? Well, that's kind of how I felt in the situation.
Time
And-
out real quick.
What?
So I was just playing deathmatch, right? And then an update came, and I'm on the main menu right now. What should I do if I didn't leave a competitive game, but it says I disconnected from a competitive game?
Panic.
I was gonna say, heal it.
Who the heck is this
Do I just
person?
hit the
Loan.
button? Do I
Loan.
disconnect? What do I do?
Learn to set games to private. Learn to click the option that says, "Would you like this game to be private and invite only?" This is the third time it's happened now. Kick him.
Should I reconnect or should I abandon?
Click reconnect. See what happens.
Yeah, right.
Got him out.
it just says reconnecting to game server.
See,
I'm not
it's
reconnecting
Okay,
to anything.
so in my defense,
That sounds like you're kind of.
in the past I set it to private, didn't know how to reset it to private.
Anyway,
That's my defense.
so the fucking the wife was yelling at me, and then
Son of a bitch,
the
not
fact that
now.
she was all pissed off and yelling, pissed off at the dude, so he started yelling at her, and they're all just fucking yelling at each other,
Charlie,
and
C for
fucking
Charlie.
God, what the fuck? This is her parting words and actions, okay? This
Gotcha.
lady, the dude, the wife and the husband are now yelling at each other because he's dumb, and I fucking apparently was the rudest piece of shit to them. But there was really nothing left to be said, and she rolls the window down after she gets back in the car, and she's got one of those like Karen finger points going, you know what I'm talking about? And she's going, "You think you know it all, but you're young and you're dumb and you're ignorant." And then literally she sticks her tongue out and flips me off. And I'm like, what? What?
Talk about
What did
domination.
I do?
can't go that way, Lon. Can't go that way.
Bro, I was like, how
Forgot.
immature can you be? I'm the ignorant one here? I'm the immature one here?
Miku, I can tell you, working retail, there's nothing worse than old people.
What?
Working retail, there's nothing worse than old people.
Oh,
Everything about them is just it just sucks and the worst.
yeah, because they have made up their mind about the way the world works, and
9 times out of 10, they're wrong.
yeah, they've
Come on,
It's
come
a-
on.
we're in
We
a
all
new
know it's
decade.
more like
We're
99
practically in a new
of
century
100.
with some of y'all, and you have to realize things are
Hi.
different now. People have evolved. Society has evolved.
People
or
have evolved.
Well, evolved or
We
devolved.
devolved,
Things aren't the way they used
We've
to be when you were my age. Yeah, we've definitely changed, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Not gonna debate that. The point
Society, we
is,
have changed. Human beings are just shittier now.
Here's your movie and your
just
chocolates.
the
Wait
fact
till
that
Mom
she
see this.
decided that
What
she needed to
does he
inform
win
me
again?
that I
Hooray
think
for-
I know everything, and I'm dumb, and I'm young, and I'm ignorant, and then flip me off? Lady, you are setting a new bar of low. Keep going. How low can you go? Hey, how low can you go? Hey, no, but dude,
Choose your
point.
athlete.
The whole point of reiterating that story I've already told twice, 3 times probably, is the fact that
Hello, Gazi.
age has absolutely no relation to maturity, and that just supports my point 100%. In my opinion, I think it does. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
I was.
I mean, I've worked construction,
over-
so I know how immature.
Adults can
Is
be.
Mama happy?
Yes.
Adults can be. Oh yeah, dude.
Mama's real happy. Cause they got her
I told
chocolate.
you about my coworker when he fucking got all butthurt because I grabbed the broom that he was using earlier in the day and he wanted it back, like it belonged to him or something.
Oh,
And oh my god, okay. My coworker was using a broom to sweep the floor at work.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one and only broom that we had in the whole warehouse. Okay, the only
Alright.
broom. I went to lunch. As I clocked back in from lunch, my manager was like, "Hey, dude, do you mind putting these things together? They're for you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." 3 literally new in-box push brooms, just like the lonely one that we have in our fucking department. So I assembled these 3 brooms. Brand fucking new brooms. 3 of them. Put them in appropriate places, around the warehouse, so you don't have to walk too far to grab any one of them. And I went to go help bale some aluminum cans, and I needed a broom. But I'm pushing around these nasty, old, crusty, sticky, disgusting garbage cans, and I didn't want to grab a brand new broom to do that, so I grabbed the old shitty broom. No big deal, right? I walked over. I'm like,
Or so you
I'm using it to push the cans into the baler and also kind of sweep some of the material we don't want in with that bale, like some miscellaneous crap. And he comes out. Like he was running the kiosk thing, and I was helping him run the baler. And like 15 minutes go by, nothing's, everything's fine. And then he comes out. He's like, "Hey man, can I get that broom back?" I'm like, "Why don't you grab one of the other ones?" I just put 3 brand new ones in there. It's like, "Well, I was using that one." I'm like, "I mean, you weren't. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been sitting where it sits when nobody's using it." And he's like, "Well, I was using that one. I want it back." I'm like, "Well, I'm doing something that's a dirty task, and this is a dirty broom. And I don't want to take one of our brand spanking new brooms and expose it to all this nasty shit. Yeah, eventually it's going to get dirty. It's going to get grimy. But out of the
Might as well keep it
4...
nice and new
Out
while
of the
you can.
4 brooms we have, I am deciding
Crane
to
here.
use the dirtiest one for the dirtiest task.
Tower boss
because
is named
that makes
Brecken, and he's
fucking
definitely
sense.
not your man. The
You
other likely
are
suspect is
sweeping
this
a floor.
warlord, basically.
You
Local
could use
guy.
any
Calls
number
himself
of those
Rise.
brooms. They
He's
will
hoarding
all
antizen
work
and then
equally
gouging
well.
the hell out of anybody who wants to buy some. I'm on
But
a mission to get
he
antizen from the airdrop.
He had this like
If I don't
personal,
succeed, they'll have to come up with something else.
like I fucking stole his girlfriend or something,
Crane.
dude. Like he
You're
got
doing well.
pissed, and he
Hey,
started.
you never know.
No, he literally started cussing at
Be sure
me
to call us
and
immediately.
telling me that
What
I
is he, Steve from American Dad?
No,
Yeah.
he literally, no, he literally fucking flipped out on me like over a broom. A fucking broom! And I was like, dude, it's just a broom. And he's like, I know, and if it's just a broom, you can give me that one. I'm like, I don't want to give you this one and then have to go grab another one where you were standing next to the one that I would have had to run over and grab. And you just have a boner for this particular broom. I don't know why.
Miku, to you it's a broom, to him it's a lover.
He must be a lonely life. But seriously, I was like, he's Stitch's age, just a year older than me. not by much. We went to high school at the same time. We watched the same cartoons growing up as kids. We, like fucking. So like, I was at a loss for words. Like, are you fucking serious? And he goes, so you're not gonna give me the broom? And I thought about it, and I was like, this is an opportunity where I could give in to his demands, although they are irrational. It will keep the peace, or I can
Be a man and say no.
I don't know about be a man, but like I stand up for myself and
That's called being a man. That's called being a man, Miku.
Each to their own.
Standing up for yourself. I'd say more just like putting things in perspective for him. Like, this
Well,
is
just
like it's not okay.
maybe he has a mental illness or he has obsessive compulsive disorder, and if that's the case,
That is mental illness.
I would understand. But I mean, at the same time, none of the tools that are at the job site belong to any of us. They're all equally none of ours. So you can't just tell me I was using that broom last.
You work in Russia?
What? No. Okay, I got the joke. Anyway, so he's like, so you're not gonna give me the broom? And I thought about it, and I was like, nah, dude, just go grab another one. And he's like, well, fucking, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it consisted of telling me that I was a piece of shit and that I was selfish and that I have no right to take something from someone else that was using it. We had already established he was not using it, but in his eyes, setting it down for a fucking hour and a half and walking away from it, it's still like reserved with his name on it. And he's still this kind of person to this day. I've learned to not put myself in a position where he has to flip out on me like that, because I don't want to deal with that. I deal with my own bullshit. I don't need anyone else's to deal
See,
with.
I would actively get in that position so he flips out and then just file a complaint with HR.
I mean, that's more or less what I did. There was another time where what the fuck was happening? Oh, I was running the kiosk, and I had one of those big yellow bins I was talking about. They're on wheels, so I fill them up with the material, and I push it onto the scale to weigh the material and stuff like that. And there was kind of a line, so I was moving kind of fast, trying to keep the sense of urgency up and stuff like that. And I have my hands on the bin, and I'm getting ready to push it onto the scale, but the scale hasn't zeroed out yet. And if it doesn't zero in between weighing one thing and another, it'll make you do it anyway. So I'm trying to wait for the scale to zero, and the dude steps on the scale and tries to pull the bin, and I was like, look out, get out of the way. And apparently I didn't say it nice enough for him. And so he's walking around doing one of those, sorry, I was just trying to help. I'll just let you do it all yourself. Like kind of one of those fucking pissy fits, guilt trip type deals. And I ignored it. But then he was saying something. Like he was facing away from me, but had his head turned over his shoulder, and we all had the masks on because this was during the COVID thing, and he was saying something to me, and mid-sentence he turns away and starts walking away, and I said, what? And so he did the same exact thing. He turned to look at me over his shoulder, started his sentence, and then proceeded to walk directly away from me, facing directly away from me, expecting me to be able to understand a single fucking word he said. And so I stopped what I was doing. I walked up to him and I was like, dude, if you're gonna talk to me and you want me to hear you, say it to my face.
Oh my god, this fucking...
Yeah, and he...
I'm on my stitches. I don't know if I'm making time, but I'm trying.
He interpreted that as like a, why don't you say it to my face then, bitch? Like, kind of like a chest bump or a bro check or something like that. Which is not at all what it was. I was simply trying to tell him that I can't hear a fucking word he's saying when he has a mask on and he's facing away from me and he's walking away from me and he's mumbling. So like I said, I was trying to get him to speak up so I could hear him. I was trying to make the point that if you're gonna even say something, you're gonna use that oxygen, you're gonna use your vocal cords, make it fucking worth the effort and project your voice so I can hear you. But he thought I was trying to like chest bump him, like say it to my face then. And then he went from like trying to like walk away and talk. He turned around, he was like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I'm like, it literally means when you're talking to me, face me so I can hear you. And he started getting super pissed off and started to get into one of his fucking like manic fits again. And this was a time where I saw it coming. So before he even started to pop off with his fuck shit, I was like, dude, just get the fuck out of my face. And he looked at me like shocked, like, how dare you say something like that to me? Dude, no, I don't want to fucking deal with it. You didn't understand what I said to you? That's your problem. Okay? Get the fuck out of my face. Because I'm not going to sit and tolerate the fucking way you talk to me based off of what you think happened. You interpreted it like this. This is what I actually meant. But he's not the kind of person that when he's pissed, he will listen to what you say and then be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I thought you meant it this way." He can't take those steps back from escalation. You know what I mean? Like once he's pissed, he's stuck there. And I saw him get pissed, and he started
getting
to
close
yell
to
at
the
me,
drop
and that's when I
zone.
told him, I was like, "Dude, just get the fuck out of my face."
And there's a crate. It looks intact.
And you
I'll
know
check
what?
out what's
Since
inside.
then, I was like, what, 2-3 months ago? Since then, we haven't had a single problem.
Fucking hell.
So you put a knife on him.
Hope I don't end up like this poor bastard.
Okay.
That's not a
You pull a
no.
verbal knife on him.
I mean, I would not do that because I have a clean criminal record and I don't intend to spoil that.
Verbal knife.
Oh, I mean, him and I are on the understanding that when I talk to him and I say something that makes him mad, that doesn't mean that's why I said it. That was not my intention in opening my mouth and saying words. And so he kind of will take what I say with a grain of salt, and then if he's really unsure about it, he'll inquire further. Likewise with him, when he starts getting upset, and he starts getting all pissed off, and starts acting like a little bitch, I just simply remove myself from the situation because I don't want to be around the bomb when it goes off. I'm not gonna fucking try to, give him the velvet glove treatment, try to fucking like handle him delicately and talk calmly to him and try to de-escalate. He's an adult. If he hasn't figured out how to do that by himself yet, that's his problem. That's not my fucking lesson to learn. But I sure as hell am not gonna tolerate being disrespected because he's in one of those moods. You know what I mean? Nobody should tolerate that.
Yeah.
I guess the most recent time.
Hey, real quick,
No.
Miku, you want a voice
No!
act?
No!
You want a voice act?
Voice act?
Here. Let me pull out that. That voice act for me.
Excuse me?
I'm streaming it. Voice act. Come on.
Voice?
Thanks, bro. I just want you to voice act. There's literally nothing.
Oh, you just want me to read what's on the screen in a...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, wait. Who's the...
So this is the evil dude.
What's the
You
content?
don't- Okay, so she basically it's really early. Like I'm like 5 minutes in. This girl was supposed to win this like piano contest, but then like a friend of hers who was poor and stuff ended up winning after there was a really convenient change of judging. So you're talking about that. So they're talking about that right now. This guy's the mayor. And I kind of skipped ahead a little bit, but she's like venting at him. All right, go.
Okay, so Burroughs is the mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one like right above the speech panel.
So what are we doing?
Okay, and
No?
Clearing out the safe houses.
Getting all the safe houses right now.
he's getting an earful from her.
Because there's only
He's
like
claiming
what, 3
that-
left. That was also
Basically, yeah.
a skill
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
How did I have a skill point apparently?
All right, go.
I think
Tell me the girl.
it's another channel then. Honestly, how do you guys feel about that?
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I mean, that's why you gotta, talk to everybody else. You can't just
Jim,
you can't just be
Jim,
people that are trying to people are like, let's get butt naked, and then everybody will be okay with it.
Jim,
Like, you gotta check in with
Those
everybody.
are
to make sure
two
it's
totally
okay.
different extremes.
Jim, I want you to know I was in the process of moving you, and you said never mind. Like you were 2 seconds from being moved to a different channel.
honestly, I was about to do the same thing. If you really want me to, we'll move to channel.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just play it by myself.
Well, they're fine.
Look at this loser playing a game by himself.
I didn't want to watch your stream anyway.
Well, fine. I just ended it.
Damn,
Good,
now
no
I
one's
don't have
watching.
anything to watch on that screen.
Oh my god.
I almost killed myself.
Nice. How?
I've been there, done that, dude. I know how you feel.
I'm upset.
Why?
I almost had a very hard lock open and I got hit by a zombie like as it opened, so it reset.
Wow, that is very upsetting, Spaghetti.
Here's the latest. So I was helping a customer unload a lot of material. They had like fucking thousands of pounds worth of this material. And I asked the fucking coworker to get me a container so we could load it into that. And he said okay. And so he goes and he gets the container. And as he's coming back with the container, I was like, yo, has it got a tare weight? Which is just the weight of the container. And so that way I can calculate how much of the weight is the material and how much is not, and how much money we need to pay the customer. Pretty simple, standard procedure. You know? And I was like, does it have the tare weight? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, cool. We loaded this container with over 1,000 pounds of fucking material, only to find out that it did not have a tare weight. And so homie has to take the container with the forklift, weigh the entire thing, go and dump the container out, and then reweigh the container so I can have that number which I needed, which he could have gotten before we filled the container up. Could have saved a little bit of time, but it's not a big fucking deal. The world's not gonna end over something like that. And so fucking, I was standing with the customer, like kind of waiting for him to finish, you know, doing all those extra steps that he could have saved himself from doing. And I got on the radio and I was like, hey Jay, you remember when you said you had a tare weight? You know, like a little ball buster, right? I didn't mean it like, I wasn't telling him that he was a horrible person for making the mistake. I was just like, you remember when you said it did and it didn't? Yeah. We're gonna do something different next time. He parks the forklift, comes marching up to me in front of those customers, starts screeching at me about how lazy I am, how much I do not do around the job, and how much of a piece of shit I am in front of the customers. And me and the customer like just kind of look at each other like, is this dude for fucking real? Are you kidding me right now? I wasn't embarrassed, but I was embarrassed for him.
See, I would just hit him I would just punch him in the face.
Like I said earlier, it's not worth, you know, tarnishing my clean criminal record. That guy is not worth tarnishing my clean criminal record. Did he piss me off for saying that? Yeah. Did he have any right whatsoever to be saying something like that? No. So I went straight to my boss, told him everything that happened. They sat him down, said, "Look, dude, that's unfucking acceptable. You can't be talking to people like that, whether you're pissed off at them or
Where
not."
are you?
Huh?
Go to the mission so we can just fast travel.
Yeah. I pointed it. That
Madonna.
popped in my head. I don't know.
God,
she
you
makes
never
some
heard
good
of
music.
Madonna?
She's almost like 80 but looks 30, right?
I mean, you're not wrong.
So,
Yeah,
India
and
might solve.
then Russia will go with India
literally-
against China.
Okay, the HARP project. Are any of you familiar with the HARP project?
Yeah.
Is that when you date a girl for 6 months
Oh, hold on.
and then she tells you she loves you, but she actually doesn't love you?
No, it's a fucking high-frequency antenna array in fucking Alaska, pointed at the stratosphere. And what it does is it creates an extremely powerful surge in electromagnetic energy, and that causes the atmosphere to push away from the fucking Earth. And then when they deactivate it, it slaps back down on the Earth with electromagnetic force, causing all kinds of fucked up weather.
See,
Like
I thought you were talking about the resonant
hurricanes,
frequency of the
tornadoes,
internal organs.
Do we literally
can do
have
that
weather
too.
weapons now?
Because
Yeah, we've had that.
if you
We have for a long time. But dude, do you remember the hurricanes in 2016? That the 2 hurricanes that went past fucking One went past the Virgin Islands to the east and went to Florida, and the other one went between the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and went west into the Gulf of Texas, where when it hit landfall, it increased from a Category 2 to a Category 5, which has never happened in the history of natural weather ever.
Well,
It has.
this Rice guy has never
Not.
seen my face
Has
before. Clean slate, right?
Have not. And in the recorded history of weather, there has never been a hurricane that increased power once it hit landfall. Because when it hits landfall, it runs out of fuel.
It depends
because there's
on the
no
land that
fucking
it
water.
hits.
It does. Texas has been one of the a climate where
Has to be done,
hurricanes
doesn't it?
can carry momentum, but they've never ever gained momentum. They have never
Rice's place
increased
is
in
over
power.
here.
And this bitch went
Just
from Category 2 to Category
find out what
5.
this will
You
cost
want to
us.
know why? Number one,
Sharknado.
oh my god. Number one, the Heart Project. Number two, number two, wet surface air coolers. Y'all ever see those factories that look like they're making clouds? It's just dumping a bunch of fucking water vapor into the air.
Never seen a factory make
It's-
clouds.
It's not necessarily making clouds, but it is increasing the humidity, which is going to fuel
There's the exhaust
hurricane.
that comes out from them.
That's what they say it was designed to do, but there's more than one side effect from operating that thing, and I can guarantee you that the way that it has an effect on the weather.
Sorry,
is
I was busy sharpening the
designed
knife. Hold
into
on.
it and it's intentionally fabricated into the design. If you don't believe me, that's cool. I'm not saying you have to believe me, but you should do some research about it. Wet surface air coolers, Heart Project. Those are your two homework assignments.